Hey guys, this is a review of Noah's Great Voyage in Tokyo Volume 2, which took place on the 8th of May and is only just now getting online. And as a result of that, I was looking forward to this show quite a bit actually, because absence makes the heart grow fonder and all that. But what I saw on this show was, it was very, very uninteresting to say the least. It's very unfortunate. The score is a reflection of how much quality is on the show. I probably had a better time watching it than that, just because it's been a while since the last big Noah show. I mean, I didn't even watch the March 21st show in full, so judging this against the other two big Noah shows that I have seen this year in full, this is easily the weakest. And to be honest, I hope it represents the low point of Noah's current state. And thankfully, there is reason to think that it might be the low point of Noah's current state, because for those of you not aware, Kobashi Kenta is making his in-ring return to Noah in Osaka next month. And this is good not so much because of Kobashi himself and the matches that he will be involved in, as much as it is about how he positively affects the atmosphere around him. Kobashi being back means more people at the shows, it means more opportunities to make stars. Kobashi just makes the product livelier to me, you know. Maybe the atmosphere won't be, maybe the impact won't be anything like a long-term benefit, but it really should be, and I really hope it is, because whatever way you look at it, Kobashi is a short-term asset. You know, he might be coming back now, but he's always just a stone's throw away from retirement. So you take this short-term asset and you turn it into a long-term benefit. That's what they should be doing. That's what I hope they do manage to accomplish, but we'll just have to see. We'll have to wait and see how they decide to utilize him. But the fact that he is coming back means that there is something to look forward to, and that kind of makes the failure of this show to entertain just a bit of an easier pill to swallow, I guess. So, but as long as the show's here, I might as well talk about it. So the first two matches are pretty standard fare. The only thing I'll say about this is I'm just about getting okay with the idea of a show that just starts at the very bottom in terms of quality and just works its way up consistently, but it does have to be continuous. You cannot stay at the bottom any longer than just for one match. You know, I like the kind of steady, continuous flow idea. I'm okay with that, but it has to be continuous. It has to stay. It has to get up from the bottom as soon as possible. And this show, that's one of the things that kind of I noticed about it that was negative. I mean, these first two matches, they should have been in opposite order. It didn't really matter in the end because the show, the big matches really didn't deliver either. But on a better show, you could have used this to just improve things. That's all I'll say. Then we had Sasaki Gensuke and Okita Takashi versus Morishima Takeshi and Yoshia Yotaka. It is quite enjoyable to watch Okita get bullied by the two big heavyweights, and even though he himself was pretty bland in how he took the punishment and how he fought back, it was engaging enough to hold my interest. So, and the exchanges between Kensuke and Morishima are pretty fun as well. So this was fine. I had no problems with this. Not too bad here. Not good stuff. Good stuff. Then we had Shiozaki Go versus Taniguchi Shuhei. This is one of the two matches on the show that are worth watching, in my opinion. It's got a very interesting layout, and it's a layout that will see Shiozaki in two conflicting roles before the end of it. He was actually the dominant heelish guy to start off with, and then he managed to change into more of a babyface by the end. And it was not a very conventional way of doing things, but it actually did work out very well. I'm saying they did the change very well. They did the change of focus very well. The other parts of the match, they really weren't so hot, I would say. I mean, when Shiozaki started, it looked like he was going to be really focused and vicious, but there were too many blank points, too many expressionless points in his performance for me to really give him a lot of credit for that. And Taniguchi's selling, it was realistic, but at the same time it was dull, so there's not much I can say about that. So it definitely hit a low point in the middle where it was just going through the motions, but the change of focus was really well executed, with a very nice sleeper hold, and everything that followed that was very, very good. So I would say check this out. It's not a match of the year candidate or anything, but it is one of the highlights of this show as it turned out. So no complaints there. I can't say this was, you know, the start of Shiozaki's steady climb to the title. It was a good performance. It wasn't a great performance. There is that. Just pointing that out. Then we got Yone, Genba, Kanemaru, and Kenta. This was terrible. This was just okay. This should have been full out, no holds barred sports entertainment. That's what this should have been. Would it have reached the greatness of Kenta versus Suwa? No, not much chance of that happening, but at worst it would have been Crash TV entertainment, which would still be better than what we got. I mean, Yone was as bland in taking these guys' punishment as they were in dishing it out. The longest section of this match was Yone versus Kanemaru, and Genba was still out there. If he had interfered, it would have been a crazy overbooked spectacle, but it would still be at least interesting. This was just boring. I'm sorry. I mean, they didn't botch anything, and I'm sure some people, because of that, will think I'm being too harsh on this. But this just, I don't know. This just, there was not one part of this that I was enjoying and that I was entertained by. So I'm not going to be kind towards it just because they didn't do anything wrong necessarily. I don't know. I mean, I can't say they killed their most the mid-card angle that they put the most thought, I guess, into, but like this didn't do anything for anyone. It just kind of stayed everything the same. It didn't advance anything. It didn't make you care more. It just happened, and it was dull. I'm sorry. I really thought they should have delivered more with that. So I'm not going to be kind towards it. Then we got, for the GHC Jr Heavyweight Championship, Suzuki Kotaro versus Ricky Marvin. I'm sure there are going to be some people who will say that they thought Kotaro's selling in this match was good. In fact, I've already read some of the comments to that extent. So let me explain how I see selling. Selling is something that should impact the way the match goes. Marvin makes a point of targeting the leg, but it never prevents Suzuki from hitting the same spots he does every single match. He hits the big move, then he clutches the leg. So the selling is cosmetic, but it's never actually has an impact on the match. It's not actually selling. So that means that all the time Marvin spent working over the leg was wasted time. There's no point in the match where Kotaro goes on a rampage that blatantly no-sells the limb work, but it still added nothing to the match. So, and you know, Marvin didn't really have much to offer besides that. He had a couple of big moves that didn't really have a lot of substance to them, and overall I just cannot say I enjoyed the match that much. I'm sorry, it just wasn't my cup of tea at all. No good. Then we got the other good match on the show, the GHC Tag Team titles. Takayama and Sano defending against Akiyama and Saito Akitoshi. Good start with Akiyama getting worked over. Saito gets in there. He starts up kind of bland, but he comes to life the longer this goes. And Sano was the same. He started off quite uninteresting, but really came into his own by the end of the match. He was helped by some really solidly executed tandem moves with Takayama. It was all really, really good. Saito actually made some attempts to play to the crowd, which they responded to. It was probably the most crowd-friendly match on the show. So Saito, he really did rise to the challenge of the heightened responsibility that he had in this match. Saying that, though, it still would have been better with more Akiyama. I'm going to say that. If Akiyama had more important roles in this match, it would have turned out better. He just has a lot more to offer as a worker, and he could have offered more in this match. The lack of Akiyama involvement was the biggest problem with the match, but it was still very, very good and worth checking out, I'd say. So one of the other good matches on the show. Then we get the main event, Sugiura defending against Suzuki Minoru. This was the Sugiura match this year that I was looking the most forward to, and I have to say, they blew it. I don't know, it started off strong, I'll give it that. I mean, Suzuki showed his qualities. He showed why he is one of those guys that can use limb work as the drama of the match, as opposed to the way to create drama through other means. It actually, there's a difference that I think I've explained, or kind of explained my opinion on before, but he is one of the guys that can do that, because you know his submissions are actually good, and he often has a very charismatic air about him. So this wasn't one of his better ones, but it was good. I mean, it was engaging enough. It was a good first half. Sugiura wasn't any good at selling the limb itself, but he is good at selling fatigue in general, which is still something worthwhile, and still given the opportunity, this still allowed for this match to kind of, if it had a good finish, to be called at least good. But this just completely breaks down in the second half. They were lost. They had given up. They had no clue what they were doing. I don't know what it was, but it was one of those. I mean, there's just these elongated strike exchanges that don't lead to anything. They go on far too long. And there's just too much back and forth, and it's too much back and forth when you consider that the first half of the match was all Suzuki. So this just made no sense. It didn't get any better, and then the match ended. So no good. This was better than the Murdoch match, but that actually says more about how much I disliked that match as opposed to how good this match was, because it was not good. It was not good whatsoever. Not a good show. I'm sorry. I mean, it's got two matches on it that are worth checking out, but really, I just did not feel good about the Noah product after watching this. I'm going to post the next important card in the description. The biggest thing that needs to happen is Shiozaki needs to take the belt. You know, he wouldn't have been my choice. I still think they should have swallowed their pride and brought Nakamura in there. But you know, Shiozaki as champion will at least give the potential for good stuff. There's no benefit at all in having Sugiura as champion anymore. Can't emphasize that enough. So what can I say? Am I by watching the great stuff from the past, am I souring myself on the current product? I don't think I am, because Sekimoto and Okabayashi have been having a tremendous year, and I urge anyone who wants to see good tag team wrestling to watch some of those matches, to head on over to ProWrest.tv and see their matches on our 2011 Match of the Year candidate list. It's a good collection of stuff, and it's something from 2011 that's worth seeing. This show was not worth seeing, so I can't say anything more. I'll talk to you guys later.